Hey guys, you're watching Echowood Holsteins YouTube channel. We got a little project we're going to be working on today to help keep our cows in better shape, would you say? And to keep them from getting injured. So, yeah, Jaron, let's see what we're going to do here.
Alright, we're going to go from slippery like this.
Yeah, that we got to get rid of. So this pen is the one we redid last year, and we did a video on it when we put the stalls and everything and the headlocks in here. And now it's just really slippery, and we're gonna fix it before we end up with a down cow or a split out cow or injured cows or whatever. So just anything can happen when somebody goes by on the road really loud, or when a cattle trailer comes through here or anything, and it scares the cows. It's way too slippery for them. So we're going to do some grooving, and we actually have a floor groover here that we, and this is what we got. This is the head on it. It's like a quarter inch. It's like a quarter inch of groove, and then it's like 3/6 or about a quarter inch that's going to be flat on top. So we're going to get started and show you what we're going to do. But yeah, so we're just going to be helping the cows out today. That's what it's all about. That's who's paying our bills. So. What we did there was just adjust the depth a little bit. We were about, I would say it's more like an 1/8 or 3/16 right here. We want to be more like a quarter inch. So the deeper it is, the longer it'll last. Oh yeah, that's beautiful there. This is exactly a 3/16 or a quarter inch from here, from the tip to here. So. Our own machine. We used to do it for other people. It kind of went along with the hoof trimming and to prevent lameness and everything, but just don't have time to do it anymore. It's one of them things where there's stuff here to do on the farm, but you can't get out and do anything. So, or it's harder to get away and do things like that, and you don't get your own stuff done. So, pretty much just using it for our own now. So we haven't honestly used it for probably over a year, probably a year and a half since that thing's been started. But it's high time to get something done. So, I bet you couldn't take a slide like you just did. You know, we'll go head over and go. That's what we want. Worst part about this grinding concrete is the dust. It's silica dust. It will permanently damage your lungs. So that's one reason I just didn't want to do it anymore too, because afterwards I cough for a while, especially if you're stubborn and don't wear a mask, which I do wear a mask. Got to make sure he's got his mask on right. Nope, probably can't hear anything I'm saying now. Hey, did you pinch that green thing down? Right here? Did you pinch this? Okay. Much better with a mask. This thing puts out a lot of dust. I know, like, last time we used it, we were in the barn, the neighbor stopped in, saw all the dust going out the end wall fans down there. He thought the barn was on fire. So it does put a lot of dust out.
So here you can really see the dust coming out of the fans. Yeah. All over the place. So, just a lot of dust.
that's on. So you can see exactly how it looks. Get it on there. So. Okay, that wheel's split. Yeah. And if you can see here, we almost got to get some of that water on this one. Here. There you go. So is what we got here, we got like a 1/4 inch. We got like a 1/4 inch flat top. And then we got like a 1/4 inch groove here. And the goal is to be about a 1/4 inch deep. These are actually a little shallower. A lot of it has to do with your speed. This is close to a 1/4 though. But anyhow, it's a lot more aggressive when you go crossways like this on a groove versus the long ways like this is over here. So like this one, here you can see it's going, you can see this is going with the groove. And this is not as aggressive. Like this you can slide across easier than you can this. This is not going to slide very easy. It's just, you get more, it's better like this. But the problem is, you can't do too much like this, or you will wear your cow's feet off like sandpaper. So you got to be careful. Like, I like it like this in critical areas, but you can't do the whole barn like that. I like it where they turn, where they might be going faster. It just helps them better traction. But it's also more aggressive. So definitely, like that would hurt my fingers out for a short while. So, like on this pen, we're going this way right on the end of the pen. But you can see the grooves in the pen go, almost always go long ways. And Keith is doing, we're putting the grooves in the majority of the pen long ways. The only time they're in crossways is here where they turn, where they come around a corner. And that's just because if they're in heat and they're really moving or something, or fighting with another cow, and they're really flying around that corner, better traction. And they don't slip as easy. So, Jaron, your cows are all in this pen, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, a couple of them. Couple. So yeah, this is our pen 5. Like I said before, but so the crosswalks are done, the crossovers, and we actually put in this whole barn. Oh, so you can see me too. So in the whole barn, you can see these grooves right here. We cut these in with our groover, and everywhere except that back alley. That back alley, they floated in. So, like when we put them in with the groover, it's so hard to get a consistent depth here. Like, you want to be a 1/2 inch deep. You should be like a 1/2 inch deep, which is about like this. But a lot of times it's like this, because I'm gonna go out and show you my drum for deep grooving, but it's just it was very hard to regulate the depth. And afterwards, so we built the barn in 2017, and it was a huge task to put them grooves in there, the deep grooves, with our machine. Like, we ran water with it the whole time and had to have a hose hooked up to it to keep the blades cooler and the drum and not as much dust. But looking back, wish we'd have let groove the whole thing, just because of the consistency of the depth. For me, it was hard to get it consistent. I hope I got one set up in here. I do not. Oh yeah, there's a little, no, it's not. So here's a drum. This drum is just, this was set up for something different. This is just kind of a rig deal here. But, so this is the drum though. This is a drum. And basically for mini grooving, you have one blade, and then this one wouldn't be in here. This will be gone, this one would be in, this one not. Then there's a spacer in there too. But for deep grooving, you would run like 1, 2, 3 blades, and then you would not run 3. And a spacer, I believe. So you'd have that many spacers in there, 3 blades worth of spacers, which are these. And then you would have 3 more blades and 3 blades. It's about 3/4 of an inch. That's how wide the groove is. And then you want it about a 1/2 inch deep. And then you actually want 3 inches, not 3 blades, but 3 inches. So about that much before the next 3 blades. And so that's how we did the whole barn. Here's some of the old blades right here. So you'd stack these like that. Except actually there's a thin spacer that would go between these here. As you can see, that little bit that's between that top and bottom is going to bust out. So it's almost like a free, and it'll probably keep it a little cooler. Whereas if you run them tight like these bottom two, it's going to get hotter. And then you're not going to get that extra little 1/16 of an inch cut out of the concrete like you would running that spacer. So I'm going to put a spacer in, a thin spacer. So there's a spacer. So see, that's, and then you offset them like something like that to keep it a little cooler too. But yeah, so that's like 3/4 of an inch right there. And then they all get pressed together and get bolted, 4 bolts here on the ends. So yeah, so where were we? On deep grooving the whole barn. I wish I wouldn't have done it. Our original freestyle barn, we put in with a wet groove. And if you've got somebody good with concrete that can put a good wet groove in and do it right, it's by far the best way to do it. Now, there's a lot of concrete guys that don't know how to put a good wet groove in, and it takes a lot of experience and a lot of grooving to do that, but there are good guys that can really get it done right. But if you wait till it's too dry, you can get really sloppy, like a lot of dragging and stuff like that. Or if you do it too wet, you get like the grooves aren't formed right and they fill back in. You've got to do it just at the right time. And I'm not a concrete expert, but I know what a good groove looks like, for sure. So this back alley in this pen 5, half of the width of this barn is the only one we wet grooved. And you can see it's so much more consistent. So these are like the grooves that got put in wet groove. And the depth here is so much more consistent on the wet groove versus my machine when I did it. And maybe there's guys that do a better job than what I could do, but after having experience with it, I would go back to the wet groove in a heartbeat. Because if we'd have hired that done in this barn, it would have been like $30,000 or $40,000. Would have been a lot of money to cut those grooves in. And we probably had $10,000 worth of blades that we went through to do that. But it wouldn't have costed any more at all if we'd have just done it as a wet groove. And we poured the concrete just to bowl coat it with groover. So that's what I'd have done, and that's still what I would do. Because you've got to do it right. It's got to be at the right timing. And you get a nice square edge groove, 3/4 of an inch wide, at least a 1/2 inch deep, 3 inches on the flat part in between the grooves is really good for the cows. So it's just something I learned in the hoof trimming industry, and I know that groove works well. That's the UW-Madison. I think Nigel Cook and Carl Berkey came up with that groove, or I'm sure other people have done it, but that's kind of the gold standard. I have to explain one thing here, to tell you about one thing. So here in this little area, we have all 3 different ways you can groove, or 3 of the most common. So we went crossways, or perpendicular with original grooves. These are the original grooves. And then we just put these lines in here. And then over here, we have the way that it's normally done. You run with the grooves, and that will not be too aggressive. But if you want a sure-footed place, like in a slaughterhouse or someplace where it's not going to matter, or like at the bottom of the holding area for a little bit, where cows are getting pushed harder than anywhere else, and maybe you just want it very sure-footed, go crossways. So go both ways. Here's the original groove, right here, and right here. That's pretty wide right there. But anyhow, it's like 4 inches here. It must have been where the bowl float stopped here and started here. It was a little off. But if you go both ways, yeah, it's really sure-footed. But it's way too aggressive to do much of it. You'll burn the feet right off the cows. They'll just like sandpaper. So yeah, I like it for not slipping, but you'll get a lane cows if you do too much like that. And there won't be any way to fix them without grinding the concrete off. Okay. So we got a issue with our groover. It should have showed you in the pen, but all of a sudden Keith was grooving and it started throwing a bunch of sparks. And push down on it, Jaron. I'll show the drum what happened here. So these carbides on this wheel, these are totally gone on this one, and this one is like half gone right here. So I think they're nearing the end of their life. So we're gonna take this drum out of here and put new blades on it so that we do a better job. That's what we're gonna do now.